Who's going to bring us in?
Not me.
Go for it.
Okay. Peace. Welcome back. Secret House Against the World, Tokyo Bass. Music reviews. I guess we could say music reviews now because we kind of stepping outside of our usual wheelhouse, which is usually underground, independent hip hop, or you know what I mean, rap music and all this. But today we are focused on. First you can see our names here at the bottom. Jet, do you want to? Do you have a name for us today, or we good with that? I want to let you cook.
No, we're good.
All right. But
Don't put me on the spot like that, man.
No, my bad. Today we are reviewing the album Soul Glo, which is their debut LP.
No, I mean LP.
It's like their debut kind of like
they've been around for a while.
Okay.
They put out. I can't remember if it was an EP or an LP, but they put out songs to yeet into the sun like 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago, 2020, right?
Okay. Wow.
The album's called Diaspora Problems.
12 songs, 39 minutes. It's out on Epitaph Records, which is a well-known, famous indie label. It's run by the guy who was the guitarist from Bad Religion. They've had a bunch of artists on there. There was a Sage Francis. Speaking of hip-hop, bring it back to hip-hop. Sage Francis had one of his albums come out on that label, which was unusual for an underground hip-hop artist. But it be like that, you know. Good music comes out of this label.
Yeah, it's like the... It's like the rock equivalent of Stone's Throw.
Sure.
Which occasionally releases a rock record when it's a hip-hop label and vice versa.
Yeah.
Epitaph, right?
It's hard. So,
Good music is good music.
You know how I like to get into it. I'm wondering if we should talk about like our experiences with this genre of music, since we usually do rap music. Are you guys fans of like punk or hardcore? Jet, I know you kind of rock with it, most definitely, right?
Yeah. I rock with a lot of punk.
Okay.
A lot of. I'm more of like a post-hardcore and like prog and like the weirder, more esoteric side of things. But you know, I like the really noisy stuff too. It's a big part of what I was into in Japan as well. You know, a lot of great Japanese punk bands like Tsushima Mire, Otoboke, Beaver, and so on, Midori. And yeah, I guess this is relatively in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Although, you know, this is also kind of different in its own way.
Sure. Well, I mean, but before you got here, Spade and I were kind of talking about that a little bit too. And Spade told me I didn't know something about him either, but he used to play in a punk band?
A metal band, yeah. 5 years in a metal band. Drummer.
Okay, a metal band.
Yeah. I love listening to rock. I listen to it all the damn time. Yeah. So like wheelhouse. Am I an expert? Just as much as I am in hip hop, and y'all know how y'all feel about that.
Well, you know, like I'm a fan of the genre. Obviously, I've gone back and listened to a lot of classic punk albums and a variety of different musical genres that kind of stem out of that. Be it rock, metal, indie, grunge, whatever you want to call it, math rock. I'm a fan of a lot of these things, even though we primarily talk about hip hop. I do have. I don't have the musical expertise to tell you about the nuances of chord progressions and shit like that, or the vocabulary to say that, but I am a fan of what they're doing here.
I listen to good music, man.
Okay.
Like, I don't care what genre it is. And if I think it's good, I'm rocking with it.
Yeah, same. You know, I mean, I like virtually all music genres because all music genres got good and bad shit to it. You know what I mean? You just got to find the dope. I'm not terribly familiar with a lot of modern black punk rock groups, hardcore groups. I'm just not familiar with many of them. You know, of course, you got your classics. You got your Fishbone and Bad Brains and shit like that.
Dead Kennedy, the Beats.
Dead
I mean,
Kennedy.
you know, you got a bunch of
the classics,
bands, yes.
but modern. This is kind of a new. I mean, there's like Rad Key and there's a few others, but for this is a little bit strange. So should we get into the album?
Yeah.
No, you didn't talk about how you know the band, man. Like,
I wasn't going to say. I fucked up, but I feel like I came across Soul Glo on the Indie Heads subreddit. And somebody mentioned that there were black folks. I was like, oh, that's interesting to me. Let me check it out. And the songs You Yeet Into the Sun, I heard that, but I can't say that I remember anything about it, or it didn't stick with me at the time. But when I heard that this album was coming out, which is probably from the same subreddit, because nobody told me about it, I was like, word. And I listened to this, and old boy, my man, cancer biologist also mentioned it in the comments, and which is one of the reasons it preempted Jet to say we should probably do that one too.
Yeah.
So that's how I know them. What about you, Spade?
When y'all said, "Hey, let's listen to this album," that's the first time I like. Oh, Soul Glo. I was thinking, "Feel it, oh, so silky smooth." Like, oh no,
That's where they got the name from.
Yeah.
I mean, magnificent. One of
The
the
also
greatest
Silky
comedies of all time.
Man,
It's a
word.
top 5 for me, personal. My
Oh no,
personal
yeah,
taste.
mine too. Yeah, it's a classic.
Yo, Stu! Yo, rent's due, motherfucker! Don't be putting that fall down the stairs shit with me. You conscious? Yeah, I love that movie, man. I must have watched that movie 1,000 times. But yeah.
Transcends race lines.
Yeah.
Are we talking about Coming to America, or are we talking about the band?
Yeah, I want you to. I want you to. Yeah.
You want me to quote Coming
Yeah.
to America?
Yeah, favorite line. Let's
I
go.
can't do that shit.
Oh
but,
shit.
I've seen it, but yeah, I'm British
I
and I'm I don't know, I'm useless, man.
What's that? Ultra Sheen?
I know
That's what they juices in there.
Ultra
It's Ultra Pearl. That'd be $8. All right. No, how do you know Soul Glo?
Soul Glo put out Untitled EP LP 2016, and that got some faint buzz, and then they like really blew up circa Songs to Eat Into the Sun a couple years ago. Never really like sat down and listened to them in depth. Been aware of them, heard songs here and there. Couldn't tell you specifically anything about them other than they're from Philly, right?
Yeah, Billy.
Yeah. I got their names down too, but I didn't know much about them either.
Oh, I didn't even look up the names, man.
I got some names. There's a 4-piece band, right?
Yeah, 4 of them.
Pierce Jordan is the vocalist, Ruben Polo on guitar, Gigi on the bass vocals and programming, TJ Stevenson on the drum.
TJ Stevens is a monster.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
I quite
are the
enjoy Ruben
You, sir.
Polo too. The guitarist is hard, but yeah, you know what I mean. So should we
Yeah,
get
go
into
for
the
it.
album
Let's
now?
Let's get into it.
Who wants to get it off? Who wants to get it off? You want to get it off, Spain?
I'll let y'all go. Let's go.
Okay. Right off bat, man, and like this is one of my favorite projects of the year. It's going to take a lot for another album to kind of blow me away. This is typically not the type of music that I listen to often, but this album just doesn't get old for me. The themes, the content that they're talking about is really dope and right in my wheelhouse. Yeah, there's like only one moment on this album that I don't really care for.
Is it the last track?
No, I actually love the last track. The
Okay.
last track might be my favorite on the album.
God bless. What's it called?
No, that's spiritual level of gang shit with Logi on it. Shout out to Logi, he's hard. But yeah, no, I actually really love the horn stabs into the full blown horn section, and then kind of this epic crescendo to end the track off. I love that track. I think that ties a nice bow on the album. But the one song that I didn't really care much about is like the breakup song, maybe the God Bless Y'all Real Good, maybe is the one I don't really care about. No, I mean there's lines that he sings in there that I would love to sing at a show of theirs and yell them aloud, and then look around and make sure the white people aren't saying the N-bomb. You know what I mean? But I mean, like, yeah, I really like this album. I could go on about track to track. I'm not exactly it's not a conventional punk album by any means. They kind of twist and turn, and they dip their foot into different genres. And there's one track on here like Driponomics, which is like trap metal. I don't know what to call it. There's not even real guitars on it. I don't know what to say about it, but man, I love the variety. I love their approach. I feel like they're creating something that's uncanny. It's new. It's progressive. It's challenging.
It's not
and
new.
I really enjoy it.
I don't think it's new.
I don't know if I've heard anything that sounds quite like this.
Dropout Kings.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with them, so I can't really debate it. But this album is really interesting to me, and I kind of feel as though they've kind of reinvigorated an excitement about this genre of music that I just haven't had in the past. I really do like it, even outside of a lot of the political critiques and the social commentary that they have to say, because y'all know I love that. What they have to say. But yeah, I this album is close to a 10 out of 10 for me from anything we've heard this year. I think it's more, I like it even more than the Billy Woods, which you guys know that I love that so much. If you didn't notice how in my feelings I was against this motherfucker right here, my brother. Don't do that. Not today. No, I really do enjoy this album.
I like this album a lot. I think lyrically and subject matter wise, it's great. I generally really like Pierce Jordan's delivery on this album. There are points where he does like a bit of a Saul Williams-ish kind of like it's kind of, he's not quite rapping and he's not quite screaming.
Yeah.
I prefer him when he's just straight up screaming,
kinda
when he's
like
doing like more
suicidal
traditionally
tendencies,
metal kind of
manic.
vocals. But I like the variety on offer here. I would say that like none of the riffs on here like blew me away. Like in terms of like the actual I think the songs are all really well crafted. I think the level of musicianship is really, really good. But the actual riffs are like, you know, you could drop them out and drop in like another riff from like, I don't know, your like a, you know, just a pretty typical kind of punk outfit from like the mid 2000s in that respect, and you probably wouldn't be missing too much for most of the album. Didn't like the last track. It almost got a little new metal in places to me.
Sure.
And wasn't a huge fan of that. Although I do think, you know, it's always worth considering how often bands, when they have something that is different and kind of varied from their usual wheelhouse, they'll stick it at the end of the album, kind of hinting towards like a potential future direction. If they want to refine that a little further, then, you know, I'm all for it. But it was the one track on the album. There was another track with a horn section on it that I wasn't crazy about either. Was it Coming Correct is Cheaper?
Yeah.
Has the horns on it.
I believe you're right.
I wasn't crazy about that track either, but for the most part, yeah, especially when they get particularly noisy and kind of particularly abrasive with it. John Jay I like a lot.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too.
That's got like lyrically it's really, really strong. And I think, yeah, the We Want's Revenge, and you know, obviously some of the lyrics on there are very much like an extreme leftist call to action, which I can totally get behind. Yeah, no, this album's really
There's a
solid
Chris
to me.
Dorner line on that that John Jay track too.
There's a Chris Dorner line
you
on
can
there.
eat this dick and swallow the whole clip on God and on Chris Dorner. Yeah. Yeah. Who was a lot? We've got a lot of Chris Dorner references this year. I feel like at least two.
Connor
at least
Massara
two.
did it too.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Connor. Yeah, another leftist musician. Let's let Spade cook a little bit. I feel like I'm interested in your critique because, you know, when I asked you in the group chat if you're like a fan of hardcore or punk, you didn't respond. I imagine you were just busy or didn't see the message. But I didn't know your temperature on that. I didn't know that you played in a metal band for 5 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. This album was masterfully done, instrumentally wise. You can't speak to that.
We kind of wore ourselves out talking too much while we were waiting for Jet, actually.
Yo,
bad. I got a little tired.
These instruments are well played. You know, they did a good job constructing this album. The drummer is top notch. I love that guy. The way they play the drums. The songs.
Bangers.
I would not call this a punk album, though. This does not fit the aesthetic of punk to me. This is more new metal or thrash metal at points. And the line between thrash metal and punk and new metal is so razor thin, but honestly, though, this don't really fit punk. And you may be asking, hey, Spade, what makes a punk album and a new metal? Well, this album was very melodic. It had tempo changes, and it was done like great. You had other instruments involved with that, and that's not really punk, right? Now, you do got power chorus in both of them.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'd argue, you know, obviously you have your post-punk and kind of more melodic kind of punk
Blink-182 is punk, but it ain't punk, right?
That's pop punk, yeah.
Exactly. It's Offspring. It's Offspring
I
punk.
feel like, you know, it's very easy to get bogged down in like what genre is this when this is very much a genre-bending band.
But that's why I got a problem with people saying it's punk. Once again, it's like the aesthetic when I say something ain't rap or hip-hop. If everything is punk, nothing is punk. If everything is hip-hop, nothing is hip-hop.
Do they call themselves a punk band? Because I think that's just this simple distinction to make.
If
they call themselves punk, then let it be punk.
They don't call themselves punk, though.
I don't know. That's why I'm legitimately
But everybody
asking.
who's been critiquing this album has called it punk, and I'm just like, that seems to be the default. I'm like, are y'all just saying that because it's easy?
I mean, it has certain tropes of metal. But
I mean, it gets
I wouldn't say
thrash metally. It gets there's like
it's not like an album with like blast beats or.
But what
like,
makes it punk?
I think
because he's screaming.
Well, punk is also, you know, I think punk is just as much of like an aesthetic and a kind of ideology. It's very protest oriented.
Yeah. That's where I think if they say they're punk,
ideologically, it's very political. It's very left leaning. You know, a lot of the tracks are calls to arms.
Okay, that goes to my next thing, right?
Go for it.
I couldn't hear the vocals in none of these damn mixes, man. The mixes were. Let me tell you something. First, the instruments were mixed well. Whoever mixed and mastered this, you did a damn good job mixing this album. The only thing I didn't like was the vocals. And honestly, I don't like the vocalist either. He's annoying. He cannot sing. whatsoever. You know, only thing he got going for him is he's unique. And like, look, that's a crux. Like, you can say the same thing about Neil Young, Bob Dylan, or Kurt Cobain. They can't sing, but they have creativity, right? And that can kind of like overshadow the fact that they're not good at what they do. But like this whole lead singer to me, he got annoying. And I couldn't hear his words. He didn't enunciate. I'm like, yo,
some
bruh.
tracks are worse than others. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, yo, if these would have set a little bit on top of the vocals, same thing with Fly Anakin, right? But unlike the Fly Anakin, man, the mix was great on this one, on the song. It's just the vocals. And then I was like, yo, why are they doing this? Because there was one song, what's the rap song with the dude there? And I could hear all his vocals clear. And then
there's Driponomics has the chick rapping Mother.
I can hear her vocals.
Her, and then there's the Logi and
Logi
another
one.
cat on the last track.
I heard his vocals. They were sitting right on top of the beat. I'm like, well, why didn't y'all just mix the rest of the songs like this?
Like that's not like there's only like stabs of the metal parts in between the verses too. So it is.
And it's hard to mix metal. Look, I've done that before. It's hard to mix metal. So I'm not trying to come down on it because I really like this album, but I didn't like the vocals and I didn't like how the vocals was mixed.
I guess though it is also, I mean, obviously it's a stylistic choice. That's not anything new to say. But you know, some of those vocal styles, like you got like the growls on there and stuff, and you know those kind of growl vocals, like it's almost, you know, in that tradition of being basically incomprehensible. Like
I can't let you. That's not punk though. That's more again.
That's more of a metal.
Going more
Sure,
to
sure.
metal.
It's more of a metal.
Thrash metal, right? Like I can't let everybody slander the genre of punk because like when I listen to the Dead Kennedys, I can hear their vocals. When I listen to the Battered Wives, I hear their vocals. When I listen to the Sex Pistols, I hear their vocals. Like Bodies is one of my favorite songs, right? I can hear all their vocals, and Johnny Ladden can sing. Can sing. Like this right here, where it wasn't a bad album, I've heard this done better. So I can't really like say this blew me away. This is something like I had more fun listening to a Slayer album before I listened to this.
You know, I can't really debate with you on those type of qualities that you're noticing in contrast to other music, but I just personally, as a person who's outside of this, I just haven't heard anything like this. Obviously, I've listened to Slayer, but I think that it's like apples to oranges in that comparison
Really?
to me. Well, I mean, like you said, this album gets into different genres. It's genre bending. It's also black cats who are talking about a very different experience that gives me like a more vibrant listen. It makes it more interesting.
It is
to
an
me.
unapologetically black album for sure.
Black
like
as fuck.
Hey!
Hold on.
let me say this though. I feel like first listen to the Dropout Kings. That's the first thing. This ain't new, right? All the members in this band ain't black, right? And I'm not gonna give these folks participation points because they black. Like, yo, I'm not gonna say, yo, because you're black, then hey, you get extra credit. Cause no, man, this has been done to death. This ain't the first racial. What's what I'm looking for? All-inclusive racial band. Like it's a bunch of bands like that, dude. So I can't give these guys it's participation point for having.
I'm not saying
black.
that the album is unapologetically black because it has a black guy or a couple of black guys in it. I'm saying, you know, the actual lyrical content, the things that they're talking about. You know, they're confronting ultimately, you know, black subject matter,
Right.
and it's to quote my man Mega, it is the black radical tradition that you see in this, right? And it's like you can trace that back to you listen to like, you know, proto punk band Death, like, and you know, stuff like their songs like Politicians in My Eyes and stuff like that, and you can draw a very straight line from Death to Soul Glo.
But once again, I feel like we've heard people do this better. We've heard Rage Against the Machine do this better. We've heard Dropout Kings do this better. Listen to Dropout Kings.
I don't know Dropout Kings, but Rage is doing something different than them too. And it's also the subject matter of this is what makes. I mean,
what do you think Rage is doing different than this?
I mean, like there's not this new metal aspect to Rage at all.
I disagree. Because I think Rage are you know
musically,
like
these songs is
a proto new metal band.
Yeah.
You know, them and Korn are definitely two of the main bands that did the architecture for that new metal movement. But I think Rage Against the Machine, you know, their music's very anthemic. It's very melodic. It's very oriented around like catchy guitar riffs and hooks and Tom Morello's experimentation with the sound of the guitar, which isn't really something Soul Glo are doing here. You know, Soul Glo, it's all like in drop tuning. It's very, very abrasive. I couldn't tell you what key most of these songs are in.
That's true.
There's they're using samplers. There's samples in here from like, you know, Rob bass and shit. You know what I mean?
But it sounds like it's being
a little
performed
different to me.
Yeah, but it's been done before. I'm saying that's not anything new. Once again, if you listen to Limp Bizkit did it. which they didn't do it well, but they did it. This has been done. It's like all this stuff is being done by Soul Glo.
But Limp Bizkit
has been done.
is very, very glossy. It's
It's very clean, and it's almost
clean
poppy.
production.
Yes.
And it's poppy.
I-
And I think Limp Bizkit probably deserve a little more credit than they get
They don't.
from the zeitgeist.
No.
Wes Borland
They
is an
don't.
excellent guitarist. He's a much better guitarist than
Right.
I put him up there with Tom Morello as a guitarist, but no, Fred Durst is the reason people don't like
True.
Limp Bizkit. It has nothing to do with the musicianship on display. There's some really interesting riffs and some really interesting ideas. It just happens to have an unbearable vocalist in the front. But Soul Glo, I think it's a lot more raw than that. This album sounds
It's
like
raw.
it's
Definitely
being
raw.
performed live in places.
It is.
I don't really care about those comparisons too much. Just close it and eat, Cannon.
Yay, special guest.
My wife is out, so I'm doing daddy business while we rush to get through this. No, like for me, Rage has a lot of substance too. They're also, their leftist Zach De La Roca is dope and has got a lot to say. But this substance wise, I don't know about the musical critiques and how to compare it to anything else. But substance wise, this is a package that interests me. The blackness is not like it's not like we're black, so listen to this. But he put so much of his personal go eat please. He put so much of his he put so much of his personal experiences, his anxieties, his political approach, and especially when it comes to I'm not saying that just because there's a political element to it makes it good. But I do think that this is the type of proletarian art that is important. These are the cogs in the wheels of the whole revolutionary machinery. And I liked it, somebody saying that. The shit that he says on this, when's the last time you heard the last line on the album is the problem with black nationalism is that everything is conspiracy theory. Where have you heard that in Bad Brains? Where have you heard that specific? It ends the album on that last line. And that's what makes that's the meat of this album, not just the music. There's a substance to this that I really fuck with personally.
Okay, I'm not gonna. Yeah, you're right.
I
don't know.
That's
you're right.
kind of like where I kind of just like.
No, as far as content wise,
Yeah,
you're right. It's
like
very
it.
good content once you can figure out what they're saying. But I will say, please listen to the Dropout Kings. I think you will like it.
Sure.
It's along the same lines as this, and the content is good. But once again,
Are
my
they-
whole thing. Huh?
Are they a newer band? Are they old? They're
Remember
old.
my critique, my top 10 albums, and I
Okay.
said Dropout King, Glitch Gang. was one
Oh,
of
okay.
them.
You did mention
Yes.
that. Okay.
That's-
I gotta check it out.
Yeah, check them out. I mean, they're black. That lyric singer is black too, so
Okay.
you'll probably like it. But
I mean, I don't like all black people.
no, I'm saying you're probably like it.
Yeah, no,
you're
I'm just
probably
kidding.
like it.
You're right.
I mean, it touched on issues
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
but I
sure.
can't say it's like this left or the same content as this. I'm not gonna throw them in that same pot. But once again, for me, the album wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It's gonna get like a 6 because the musicality was so great and the way they put it together and the producers was great. But I couldn't hear what the vocalist was saying.
Sure.
And
I had to open up the lyrics
you gotta
to
have
read
the lyrics
it too.
open,
Yeah.
but it's the same. If you were at a show and they were like screaming it in your face, and you were like getting headbutted in the chest by somebody, you also wouldn't hear the
hear it
vocals.
too.
That's,
Yeah.
it's the environment, right? It's the aesthetic. The lyrics are fucking sick.
Yeah.
Fucking no one's
There's a
left
lot.
blind by an eye for an eye unless you make the same mistake
Say
twice.
Yeah,
That's fucking
yeah.
sick.
The
Like,
delivery is terrible,
there's a line on here where he mentions Vast Air from Cannibal Ox. He says he don't want to end up like the pigeons Vast Air said never flew, and that's like some hip hop shit. Like I love that Cannibal Ox album. It came out my senior year of high school, and it's just dope to hear somebody pinpointing that from this space. And I don't know, man. There's I've got a bunch of quotes from all the songs because on all the songs he says some shit that I really like, even when it's some shit I don't really particularly care about. Driponomics is about flipping hype beast gear and reselling to make a little bit of money off of it, which I try to hit on the sneakers app every month so I can get some shoes and then flip them and sell them as a little side hustle. So
And
I fuck with it, but I don't really
there's,
care.
I mean, one,
About
fuck
that.
you. Fuck you. Two,
You see the lineup.
but the lyric, the song also kind of highlights if your system has so many gaping holes in
Yeah.
it, you can't be mad for somebody to get in their own, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I hate to be a reseller, man, but like I have spent. You guys see my shoe collection. I spend a lot of money on shoes because my
Massive
wife
shoe
is a poor influence. She's a sneakerhead. But
yeah,
but
blame
you
your
know,
wife. Blame your wife. I
yeah,
see
you're right.
you. Blame your
but
wife
I mean,
selling
there's
your
just
sneakers.
yeah. I mean, like I don't hit on the sneakers app though is a thing.
Secret
And you know,
doghouse.
it's because of the bots fucking from the resellers are buying up all the shoes. But there's a lot of stuff on here like him being radicalized at 9 years old from fucking 9/11,
yeah.
which is crazy. That means he was radicalized like the same year I was radicalized, like with actual leftist politics. Because before that I was God body, but that's that black nationalism that he's talking about too. And so like I don't know. I have to say, you know, I don't know about comparisons. I thought this was like uncanny and different musically, and it's good to hear that other people are killing it because I really thought they did. I love all these tracks are fucking hard and bangers. So if there's more music like that, that's good. But in terms of the space where he's coming from with the vocals, like just what he's saying, which I don't have a problem with the bad singing or it being mixed poorly like you do. I love this album. This album is wonderful for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, on our 3-point rating system, trash, album, best album ever. Where do we sit? Spade?
Me? It's an album. Once again, the delivery of the vocals was piss poor. Dude can't sing. It wasn't mixed well vocally. Once again, instrumentally, perfect. Don't change a thing. But vocally wise, I wasn't impressed. Like I said, I'm not giving this guy participation points for being black and doing the genre. Like, I'm not doing that. So, yeah.
I think the white liberals that he complains about are the only people that do that. Give him points for being black. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But overall, good project. But I'm gonna give it a 6 in album. It's an album. Would I go back to some of these songs? Actually, I would. But I'd rather listen to somebody who does it better, like Dropout Kings, or I'd rather go back to some 42 or some Blink 182, 41. I'm sorry. I always say 42 for some reason. Some 41, Blink 182. Too many numbers. Yeah, some Offspring, even some Fishbone.
That's all.
Some
Okay.
Big Kids
Okay.
and
Fishbone
Battle
at
Wise.
this
Fishbone's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for me, greatest album ever. I give this album like a straight, like high 8, a 9. I really enjoy it from start to finish. Even the tracks that like
I said 10 before, man.
No, I said it's close to a 10 as I've
well,
gotten.
8's close
Like
to a 10, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
like a high 8, a 9. I think it's a really good album. I especially like the messaging and yeah. I usually don't dabble in this genre as much, but man, this one really I'm taking away a lot from it. What you got, Jack?
Yeah. This is also like an 8 to me. I think it fills a really interesting niche in terms of, you know, this kind of hybridization of different styles, bringing in, you know, obviously you've got the punk and the metal elements, but also, you know, there's rappers on there, there's rapping on there. The very leftist kind of radical political messaging is mad dope to me. Everybody does a good job on here. Like I said, I some of the riffs on here are not particularly memorable to me, but other than that, I don't really have any issues with the album. I liked it a lot. It's also like doesn't outstay its welcome for me, which is kind of rare for like a 40-minute long, very abrasive, kind of very fast punkish album.
Not punk.
That's why I said punkish, because I knew you were going to do that. Let me cook, Spade. Let me cook.
Sorry.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say now. Either way, yeah,
If
it's
his
dope
mama
to me.
name him Clay, I'ma call him Clay. If he say it's punk, I'ma call it punk.
It's dope to me. Like, yeah, it's like an 8 for me.
That was another Coming to America line. Shout out to
Yeah,
me.
word.
Hey.
Yeah,
I'm
punch me
glad
in the chest. I was like, Soul Glo.
You know what I mean?
Don't forget
Hey,
to
man.
like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit.
Yeah.
We at 500. Thank you guys. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for 500 subscribers. We'll do like a secret housekeeping at some point, comment responses, all that good stuff.
We've got our Golden Week vacation coming up, so I don't know how often we're going to rock towards that. But yeah, we're happy to get to 500. Thank you guys for supporting us. Please continue to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know your favorite songs on the album. Complain or you know, do those things that people do on the internet. Yeah, you know, the mortals of the internet are uncouth, so no surprises. But yeah, Secret House against
Secret House.
Soul Glo.
Fernando so silky smooth.
I'm gonna have to edit out my daughter and put like the little
happy
you know what I mean?
face.
Yeah.
Oh, you can put the little
I don't
mother
want
protect your
yeah,
anonymity.
yeah,
Yeah. Put a little
I like
happy
that.
face there or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I put-
yeah,
they got
yeah.
the little mosaic. I could just blur it out and shit. Yeah, my wife is gone, so the food coming. She coming through the door. Yeah, I mean,
Nah,
it's
man, you're a good
difficult,
father,
yeah.
dog. That shows it.
Yeah,
Seriously, man.
Nah,
doing
you know,
double
I
duty.
just it's real life happening over here. Secret House.
Secret House. fuck the alt-right.
Oh,
Hey, I
thank
got to
you,
say it
Sam.
clear.
Yeah.
No, I said it like 3 times, but you were like doing the
Feel it also super
Coming to
smooth?
America thing.
Man,
Yeah.
I would love actually, you know, the album, like I said, it ends with the problem with black nationalism is that everything is conspiracy theory. If you got something to say about that, put it in the comments, man. I'd like to have that conversation. I've had that conversation quite a bit, man. A lot of the
We see you, cancer
reactionary right.
biologist. We
You know what
see
I mean?
you.
Yeah, shout out to my mans. All right, peace.